Welcome back. This is another episode, One Day Kings, and tonight we're going to talk about integrity, or not integrity, inspiration. One of the things that I was thinking about these last couple weeks is there are always moments of inspiration that inspires you to move a little bit closer in life, a little bit closer to the goal at where you want to be, as well as like the direction that you're heading in. And, you know, all the different things that you're going through, it can take one shred of inspiration to really make a difference or to help you get over the hump. And so, you know, I'm here with Ryan. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of ask him about some moments of inspiration since he's been going through some things recently, to kind of keep you on your train. Because, you know, you recently went through a breakup and kind of worked things out. And, you know, you're trying to figure out your space as far as where you want to live as a man. What are some pieces of inspiration that you use so you could stay to your course of where you're at in your life?
Yep, really the bank account, bro.
The bank account.
That money. That money is the inspiration.
Man, that's when I say
it's about the money.
Man, when I say like I say that, and sometimes I lose, let's just say, inspiration, meaning I stop looking at the money and I become uninspired. I'm not a saver. I'm not focused on the investments I need to make. I'm not focused on what I'm doing. I'm just wandering. But when I say the money,
bro.
The money.
And for me, it's more because I was on my way up that mountain.
Yeah.
And because of some decisions.
Yeah.
There's some consequences that have to be paid. There's a tax.
Yeah.
For it. You know what I'm saying? So now that cockiness that even though I was hungry, not being careful, not being focused, not being driven, even though the money was there.
Yeah.
And I was successful.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, okay, the part that really fucks with me is, damn, if I was really focused while I was climbing up that mountain, while I was successful, bruh, where I would be now. So now I have the focus. Now it's not even a matter of if I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
It's just doing it in a way that the purpose of how my life should be lived and how we should walk, and doing it the right way. That's the inspiration. So but it comes to the money.
I'm gonna use the money because before, if anybody who, let's just say, is anti, you know, money or wealth building, I want to make sure that they stay locked in because it's deeper than that. So for me, what the money signifies for me is a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so when I say, like, from an early age, I did my best to try to do little entrepreneurial things to kind of keep me with, you know, cash on hand, or to keep me, you know, money in my pocket to be able to buy the things that I want. And so when I decided to really, I don't want to just work a regular job because I wasn't happy with the way I was treated working a regular job.
Right.
Meaning, if you have a job, it's not about, let's just say the word regular. You know, I'm not saying, oh, I work for a gas station or whatever. I'm using regular in a sense of I'm employed to make money. And so it's not something I'm passionate about. It's not fulfilling. It's a means to an end. Mm-hmm. And so I call that a regular job versus a career or someone's life path or someone's talent or whatever. When you work a regular job and you're not appreciated, there's something in your soul that says, I can't do this forever.
Yes.
And so for me, I started, you know, hustling, doing different things. I ended up jumping into real estate. I started making some money in real estate. And then as I started to acquire the lifestyle that I always wanted, and I achieved it, it stopped being about the money.
Yeah.
And what happens when you lose focus of the money? Something you just said. you will lose the money.
You'll lose the money.
And hence, I'm no longer inspired.
No, not at all. Because you have no focus. You're not in your lane, bro. Like, what got you there? A part of what tore you apart at the end is what somewhat got you there. But you have to recognize where your ego is at, and you have to like slap yourself and be like, okay, I'm not that great. There's a million of Ryans out here that can do exactly what I can do. There's nothing that is special about me that nobody else can sit here and do this job. I am one of a million, 1,000, 100 million people, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So, it's really not letting the money get to your head. And even though it's, and the thing is, it's not even about the money for me personally.
Yeah.
Let me break it down for what I say.
That's what I said. That's what the money, I was like, it's a lifestyle for me, but
it's leaving, it's what I can leave behind, not what I can spend on myself, not what I can, like, you can have 5 houses, but you can only sleep in one bed at a time.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You can have, like, you can own as many mansions as you want, but you can only be in one kitchen at a time. You can only eat at one table at a time. You can only drive one car at a time.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be frivolous and thinking that the money is always about just supplying yourself and making yourself feel one type of way and enriching all those things. It's about what you can do for others.
Yeah.
And we was talking about that's the whole purpose of men. And why our testosterone is like at the highest of the high, and why women can never ever match that.
Yeah.
It's because we meant to expend our energy and serve one day to the next.
Yeah.
And if you serve and you focus, you gonna get some bread.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. But I think that's a part of being a man that you have to realize you have to step away. It's like, I mean, I heard this like quote the other day that was inspiring, that this guy, I think I posted it, he was saying like, when God made man to work, and man started his work. God was the one who made the decision that man needs some help, because God watched man work, and that's all we were doing. As men, we have to discover work, meaning you have to discover what you're passionate about first. That's what you work towards. Don't work towards a woman. Work towards what you're passionate about. When you're a young man and you have the favor of your parents and your whoever's taking care of you, you have the opportunity to experiment. Don't be a bad teenager. You can experiment in the things that brings you joy. Because if you can discover that at an early age, like the kids who discover computers, or the kids who decide they want to be a doctor and they graduate from Yale at like 15, all these kids have discovered that today I'm going to grow up and I know what I want to be, and I'm adamant and I'm willing to put in whatever work is necessary to do it. And it's not necessarily because a child is just born with this just huge IQ. It's just they made the decision, I'm just going to put away childish things and I'm only going to do the things that serve my life's goal. And I think that's the beauty of, as a one day at a time that you're supposed to work, you have to really, if you make the decision, the money, or rather the things that serve me will bring me money and I'll be able to acquire the life that I want, I have to focus on that to get inspired or to be able to live life happily, or even success, any type of success.
Yeah.
I have to be able to focus on what I'm meant to be doing. If it's working, it's working. If it's slaving away at a job or a desk or designing something, it is what it is for you. Some men, their work is to volunteer and to be the best softball coach for kids.
Right.
That's work. You know what I mean? They're not going to necessarily, the money that they get supports their lifestyle because they're usually simpler guys. I don't need all this. I get my fulfillment from managing kids or teaching people how to swim, or whatever it is the case. I mean,
whatever your purpose is, whatever you whatever you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, it's the money, and then there's a couple, I would say there's more than just the money. For me is the money, I would say, obviously if you look at what your parents did, what my parents did, just a sacrifice of what they done, and obviously being from a black culture, the sacrifice that our ancestors had to pay. So the fact that we're able to just sit in this park and film without being harassed, without being called nigga this and nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, for real, to really have that freedom for the price of things that we didn't have to pay for, that we take for granted for every day.
Yeah.
That's also inspiration if you really start thinking about how free you are, and the things that we were gifted at the time because of the time that we were coming into this life.
Yeah.
At the time that we did. So for, you know what I'm saying? So it's that, and then obviously my kids.
Yeah.
So it's the money, my parents, and then my kids. But all that is just is family, and just wanted to take care of home.
Man, I think that's powerful. For me, it was like that. I mean, once my family was complete and Erica moved in, like I know we had enough money to take vacations. I knew we had enough money to, travel where we wanted to travel and give our kids nice things. And to me, it's like, oh, this is wonderful. And I'm just, I'm blowing money. I didn't care. I even stopped acquiring new money. Like, no, this is all I want to do. I want to play with my children.
Yeah.
And then I had to stop and wait a minute. My bank account's getting low. Like, well, I don't want to work. Well, because I want to play with my kids. Well, what allows me to play with my kids? Working. You know what I mean? It's a recycle center.
Yeah, it's a system.
I have to work. I have to maintain the things that I have in order to live my lifestyle at any stage of the game, whether you're, $100,000 in the bank or $100 million in the bank. You still have to work to maintain the things that you have, or, a fool and his money will soon part ways.
Yeah, man, you always got to step it. If you're able to, you got to have, once you be able to hit that goal, you got to up it. You got to keep going. Like, there's literally, the sky's the limit if we want it to be. And we sabotage ourselves on the way getting up there, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that's why only a certain percentage of people are able to make it so far.
Yeah.
And be happy and free along with that. I'm not just saying just the money, but also having integrity, that you can come home and your wife still loves you. Your kids know who you are, that you exist. That you exist. Like, they know you show up for their events.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're fully surrounded. You show up to your church or whatever religion, what men's group you have, or whatever thing that you got going on, you're part of the community, and everybody knows that you are somebody that they can rely on, and they hold you at a very high value.
Yeah.
And that's how other men should be looking at other men, is how valuable is he to the people around him.
And I think
do they respect him?
That's the testament, I think, to me, of a man. To me, it's like the value you have on the people around you. How valuable are you to the people around you?
Yeah. How do you carry yourself?
Yeah. But I mean, you have to. If you're valuable and you carry yourself to a point where people are like, man, I need this person in my life. I appreciate this person. And even at its bigger level, even when you're far removed from people and you're just assisting other people by, food, helping out, giving to charities or things like that, it's like you're valuable to people. Mm-hmm. So even if you're not in direct touch or contact with somebody, to be able to have, wow, we're helping feed a charity in Kenya, these orphans, these orphanage for girls, and it's like, they're like, send us pictures of something. I've never met them. They've never seen my face or any of that. But they send us pictures like, man, thank you so much for this and this and this, and they'll send us pictures of their room, and we're like, oh man, you're sleeping on that, and then we'll send beds, and it's crazy.
But those are real world that is how. And people think we have it so hard. We have it so easy.
We have it easy.
We can go into a whole other conversation with that. But that just goes into your giving and your purpose and what helps you get up to. And it's not just about what's under your roof. It's about those kids that are relying on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it is for just some water, just like a meal, whatever that supplies them for the night. Like, they relying on Justin for that. They relying on Erica for that moment to live and get through that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just like when we just setting up right here, dudes was wondering what is going on. What are these guys shooting over here?
Yeah.
Two guys just curious about what we talking about.
Yeah.
And they caught it immediately.
Yeah.
And now it's just a true testament of what we doing, just being out in the open and honest in our community.
Yeah.
And sharing amongst other men about being better men.
Yeah.
And telling us another avenue to tap into.
Because everybody is, every man is in their own stage, and I don't, I think it was a really good point that the gentleman raised that we talked to earlier, because these two gentlemen kind of came up to us and was just like, hey, what are you guys doing? We're going to kind of film a podcast. And they were like, what is it going to be about? And I kind of looked at Ryan like, are we going to go into our whole spiel, or are we just going to, okay, yeah, we're going to tell them. And so, we told them, and they were just like, wow, that's pretty good. Like, well, wait a minute. Like, what do you mean? Like, what's a man? Or do you mean like this old arch barbaric, archetype guy who you have to do these things and this is going to make you a man? Like, no, it's like one of our biggest things is told them our topic for tonight was like, inspiration. Like, what inspires you to one day at a time pick up the grind and go?
Yep.
And he was just like, man, like, yeah, that's powerful. Like, so many people need to, awareness, and we're all at different stages of where we're at with a man, or being a man, not different stages at with a man, because not at all. But it's one of those things that you have to really be in tune with, because every guy is different.
Yes.
And so every man is curious about, what are you going through, right?
Yes.
Like, what's happening in your world, what's happening in your life,
yes,
like that you're struggling with, that you need help with. Oh yeah, it could be easy to this guy, but to the next guy, he hasn't even gotten there yet. So how do you get through? What things are that draw you, to keep you inspired? For me, one of the things that keeps me inspired are quotes. As simple as it is, sometimes quotes are just corny, other times, but quotes, a good quote for me can like keep me in just an inspired state to just be welcoming of any type of information. Like, meaning I have a problem where I'm like, man, I've decided to fix this. When I hear certain quotes, it puts me in a space of just like, okay, this stress has bottlenecked my thinking. I believe that the universe is all powerful. God is all powerful. The answers are all here. It just hasn't traveled through me yet. Yeah. So I need to relax my way of thinking and be inspired by the things around me, whether it's taking a walk in nature or using some tree or, going by the beach and just hanging out, having a glass of wine with my wife and just listening to music, like opening my body to receive inspiration instead of worrying about why I don't have the answer. A good quote can keep me open so that, man,
keeps you from being stagnant.
The answer will flow through. Why didn't I see that before?
Yeah.
It's always been in front of me, and I never seen it because I've been bottlenecking my way of thinking. Yeah. And that's what, a good quote does for me. It opens up my way of thinking that I can receive, more information, more inspiration, more knowledge. And so quotes is huge for me as far as inspiration, especially if I'm in a slump. Like, I feel like I'm not motivated to do anything. And that's real. That's real. I'm not just fatigued. No. Even when I have the time and the energy, I don't want to do what I know I need to do.
That's real. That's
quotes,
human.
We'll do it.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's look, it's easy to show up when you're feeling 100%. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Right? It's when you're feeling like 3%, 4%, 5%.
Yeah.
And you need to be at 100%. But it's just the fact of just showing up sometimes and just giving yourself that grace that, at least I showed up and I put in some work today.
Yeah.
I didn't get everything I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
But I did something that got me out of, because before your mindset was I wasn't going to do shit anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I get that. That's a slump. Yeah. I get it. I mean, even Devin is coming by this Thursday to help me build a set, because I'm like, I cleaned out the garage. I got enough room to build the set, and I still don't want to do it. So sometimes I need a friend to just, come through and just sit. Just let's talk, shoot the shit, while I start working, just to help me get momentum. And then once I get momentum, I'm good. Like, when I get on a momentum on a project, where I can work the whole night. Doesn't matter.
But you're different, bro. Okay, let's talk about that, though. But most dudes, when they in a slump about something that they're supposed to do, they don't call their boy to help them get the project done.
Yeah.
They call them to go do some other bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we talking about inspiration
Yeah.
and everything. So a lot of the time we got the plan, the blueprints right there.
But it
Step A, B, like 1
But
through
it is.
10, like
But
written
you
out
need- so
for
you
you.
need- like, so,
you know what I'm
okay.
saying?
But so here
It's-
we go.
Yeah.
I look at, like, for example, Devin. Like, when Devin calls me, I mean, don't get me wrong, we joke, we laugh, we talk, but at the same time, when Devin calls me more about, yo, what's your next step? What are you working on? And like, because he's younger than me, I'm like, not even that I'm like, oh, I'm living to inspire Devin, but because he's younger than me, I can't allow anybody younger than me to look at me as a slob. That's an ego check for me. So I'm like, yo, we talked last, you said you was working on some shit. So then I'm like, fuck, before this nigga Devin called me, let me do some work. And I'll try to do a little bit and kind of bullshit a little bit. And then I'm like, I can't. Even when I did my last little video project, I sent to Devin, what'd you think? He was like, oh yeah, cool, but this one part bothered me. I'm like, oh man, it's all good. The camera, this and that and that and the other. And which he's right, but I'm like, you know what? He's right. I can fix it. But I'll just cut it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're right. I thought about it. I saw the same thing you saw. So here's the raw footage. As you see,
Yeah.
I didn't have much to work with.
Yeah.
But this is it. But he's just like, well,
do better.
just re-edit that out. And I'm
Right.
like, bruh, I'm sending it out. It ain't that serious. Bruh, I got off the phone with him. I can't be a slob.
Yeah.
So I fixed it. I stayed up for 4 hours to edit 4 seconds out of a video and to make it flow smooth and send it back to him.
Yep.
I'm done. You're right.
Yep. No, I mean,
And so you got to have that friend because, day by day, I call friends all the time. Yo, let's go kick it. Let's do this. Let's do whatever. I call more of those and I'm in a slump than I call somebody like Devin to be like, bro, come through and help me out.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to have a person also to help inspire you, even if inspiration isn't necessarily I'm looking up to you.
Yeah.
But I look to you to get me motivated to do the work that I'm supposed to do.
Of course, bro.
That's inspiration.
Look, we're human. Like you got to have something that inspires you from one, and what works today may not work tomorrow. So you got to always be digging. Like it could be a podcast, it could be a chapter out of a book, it could be a conversation with your homie, it could be, if you have your parents around, that one or that one thing that your mom says, or that one last sentence that she says before you get out the car, before you make your way. You know what I'm saying? That just really sticks with your head or in your mind as you going throughout your things. You know what I'm saying? Or it's that one memory verse if you're spiritual in your Bible and you reading the Word. So it just, you got to take, and for me, like where I'm at in my life, like a lot of people, I feel like every conversation, if you are coming from the right place and you're tapped into the right things in your life spiritually, and you got to know where you're at, obviously, from one day to the next, right?
Yeah.
I think that everything has a purpose, and you can find literally a purpose in any conversation. And obviously, there's some that you got your bullshit conversations, but there's some that you're just like, all right, that reminded me of I need to take care of this, or I need to go do that. And it wasn't even meant to be like that, or the conversation didn't even go in that way. But that's kind of where I'm at in my life, is like I'm literally trying to pay attention to everything and pick up and give back every little piece or nugget that I can pick up and put
All right, let's go into that. I'm about to hit stop, and then we're going to part 2. We're going to go straight into that.
All right, for sure.
Yeah. Watch this, good boy.